Shady's back. Tell a friend.
Day 2, we're back. I lost the will to live yesterday. Some days I don't know, you just get a little bit just over it. That's the postman. Today, we've got a new lease of life. Just had a fucking coffee. It's put me on the edge of a nervous breakdown, which is the perfect spot. And we're going to get on with this, because I need to get the car running, and I'm bored of it not running. I'm bored of it being broken. I have measured all of the resistance across the coils. I'm going to go back to copper plugs because they don't fail like iridiums. Should I risk putting another set of iridiums in it and just run it, but then they foul, but copper don't, and you can just clean them and blast them off. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run coppers for a little while. I've gapped them at 0.5 of a millimetre. Now, I'll show you this tool. This little tool I've got. This is a Nielsen tool. I'll be honest, I thought it was double-ended, but it's not. I assumed that one end you would be able to pull the, it's not the electrode, is it? It's the body open a little bit. Some of them have got like a little hook. So you put them in, you wind them out, and it pulls it open, and then you can close it up. But this, luckily these were open anyway. So what I've done is I've gapped them at 0.5, that's a feeler gauge. That's half a mil, basically. You put it in there, like that. Bloop, bloop, and then you wind him up. And that pushes the tip, careful your tip, nice and close up there. And then it basically squashes the feeler gauge in. You know you have a consistent gap. Why am I doing 0.5 of a millimetre? Because if I've still got the chat, I'll put the chat GPT log on here. Gets a little bit involving. So what I'll do is I'm going to try and keep it interesting, but basically these coils have a 12 volt supply, obviously a ground, and then they have an activator, an activated pulse from the ECU, and you can tell it at whatever voltage range you've got. I'll come back to the range in a minute. At whatever voltage range you have a dwell time, so the time it takes to energize the coil and release to spark, right? As your RPM goes, so your engine is going faster, you need that event to happen quicker, so your dwell time reduces. Obviously, you can't increase the dwell time and ask it to speed up. So you have basically a table, which I'll put on the screen now, that is RPM versus dwell time, it's milliseconds. And sorry, the input is milliseconds on the table, but it's voltage versus RPM. And what I've done is I've analysed it, and I think my dwell time was about double what it should have been. I've told ChatGPT that I'm going to use copper plugs. I've told it the boost I'm running, I've told it how much fuel, I've told it the injectors. I've collated information from all around the internet, and I've double checked it against forum information that I've got, and I've found roughly your engine operates at 14 volts because your battery is 12 volts and your alternator is constantly charging, so you see 14 volts all the time. So you want to make sure that across your table for your RPM range, you basically make sure that your 14 volt section is as accurate as it can be. I was at like 5.6 milliseconds, and actually I've dropped that down to 2.3 milliseconds. So with coils, the more energy you put in doesn't mean the spark is bigger. It basically just means it will be charged and stay charged for longer than it needs to be and create heat. And I think that's what's happened. I've created too much heat. The exhaust has created shitloads of heat, and it's floated over the top and onto the coils. And I've got the radiant heat, and then I think the plugs are also degraded. They've just fouled up. So I think it's a case of all of that mechanism of failure. So it's all kind of that. But also, interestingly, someone said to me, check your ground strap, because that was an issue for them. They did everything. And also on chat said, if you get misfiring or funny problems, check your ground strap. So we're going to check the ground strap as well. So I'm going to do a whole check thing. And what I might do is shield the ground strap or shield the wires that run to the throttle body that are close by. Just put like a sleeve over them, just to make sure there's no interference. But anyway, so that's the theory, and the 2.3 to 2.5 milliseconds across the range is at 0.5 gap on these motorcraft plugs, coppers. So that's basically the theory behind it and why I'm doing this. So I think I've been putting too much heat into the coil, even though they've lasted ages. This is the only set of coils I've ever had in all the, like, they're probably like the only thing that I haven't changed yet. And then I looked at how to measure the resistance on the coils. And because these are 4-pin coils, so on a Yaris coil, which is what these are, 1.3 Yaris coils, they have a constant 12 volt, they have a constant ground, they have a trigger, which is what the ECU tells it. Then they also have a feedback, and the feedback, you just don't use it because my ECU doesn't need it, but you do need the trigger, obviously. So because of that, it makes testing them really hard. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just plug them all back in like we did with the coppers, put them on the head and make sure that they all spark exactly as they should. Robert's your father's brother. Apart from that, I've paired them up as close as I can. So this is a 4.17, 16, 18 to 21. They're as close as I can get. Some of them go up as high as 4.26. So I've just paired them as close as I can. Does it matter? I don't know. But obviously you want to have your variances in my head, in theory, as close as possible, right? You don't want one having massive resistance difference, but they're all roughly the same. So that's all I can do, because I don't know really much more about it. I'm just doing what feels logical. I'm giving all the plugs a proper see-into. So each one of these is getting a proper wire brush. I used to have tiny little files I could get in there and file the electrode. But then what I've done is I've closed the gap up to 0.5 and cleaned it all up, and then I've brake cleaned them. That's it. I'll make sure they're all dry, copper slip them, put them in. And that'll be it. Gonna do the ground strap and we just get on with it. Press the button, see what happens. But we do have compression. So my compression is, is it a secret? Should I be telling you? Oh, I don't know. 75 psi. Every single cylinder is bang on 75 psi. That is a standard, obviously it's not a standard bottom end, but it's a standard compression ratio. So yeah, I've got forged all that bits, but like, doesn't matter. It's I think it's 8.2. So whatever the standard focus compression ratio is, it's that, which I think it's 4.2. Or whatever it is, I'll put it on the screen. And then we can look at that together. So yeah, it's a little bit boring, this video, but what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to figure this out once and for all. Now, I've created these, and if you follow me on Instagram, oh look at that, it's like buttercups, isn't it? Does it reflect? I don't actually remember why you used to do that, if you did a reflection. Is it like you're nice if it reflects a butter? Anyway, these are this proper job. This is Zirca Flex stuff, proper radiates the heat, stops it going into the coils. So what I've done is, here's one I made earlier. I've measured it all out. I've die cut them now, so they're not like this one I did by hand. It's a bit janky. But what it'll do is it stop the heat radiating up from the engine, and it'll also stop the heat coming across the top of the engine and affecting the coil. Now what I've done is I've kept it open at the top purely because they've got to breathe somehow, right? So I've just stopped the radiant heat doing that. So yeah, that's that. I've got one for each of them. We'll put them on. We're going to test them all and put them in. So what I'm probably going to do is probably do a bit of a time lapse now, because I don't really want to bore you too much, but sometimes you've got to get a little bit technical with this stuff, because we're not pushing the limits, are we? But we are doing new stuff. I don't see that many people running Yaris coils on Focuses, and I want them to be reliable. I want people to look at them and go, oh yeah, I can run Yaris coils, and not be like, well, Matt's had shitloads of problems with them, fuck Yaris coils, because they are cheap, as you can see, I've got loads of them. But I think people are starting to use R35 coils now anyway, so that's a future thing, isn't it? But yeah, let's try and make this shit reliable. And on the screen we've got a dogfight, so I'm gonna have the tunes on. I'm gonna put a bit of trance on today. I've had a coffee, my brain's going quicker than my mouth, which ain't normally the way it works. So here we are. So we're going to get on. First of all, got to gap all the plugs, clean them all up, get them all ready, see if this pig will start. I'm going to oil all the balls again as well, because I don't really like the idea of it being dry. Don't know why. Got to look after your mate, wouldn't you? Got to look after your mate. It'll only get out the fucking exhaust anyway. What a playlist. What a playlist. I'm in the 740 fizzer.
And I just bought a bike so I can ride till I die.
That's what the fuck I call a chain reaction.
To see money ain't a thing. We still the same. Flows just changed. Now we about to change the game.
Okay, right, so we've selected our coils. I'm going to apply one of these each of the bodies. I need to test them before I waste one of them on the day. They're a cool little bit of kit now. How can I make a little jerry rig for this? There's got to be a way, isn't there? I'm not really sure what I'm doing. But I think, bear with me, right? If I've got a coil, outside's positive, that's ground. For me to get a spark plug to spark, let's find a clean one. I'm not using one of mine. Might be harder than first of all. Oh, I've got a spare. Oh, I've got two spare ones. Well, let's just put one of them in. If that is in there, bloop, bloop. If that's it, I'll take that in there. If that's in there, so if we've got power, ground, this needs to be ground. So if I ran a wire from there to the body, and then if I put a wire from there to that pin, would that fire the coil? Let's build a test rig, because I don't like the way this looks. This looks like I'm going to get fucking electrocuted. Just found this. This is why I keep all my old shit. I reckon that'll be good. So we've got, that's our feedback. So if we put that on a coil, they haven't got to worry about destroying a plug on there. That's our power. That'll be, that's power, that's ground, and green is our trigger. That, I'm going to probably just chop off because I'll never need it. That's feedback basically. Never seen an ECU that requires coil feedback, but I've only ever played one ECU. So that's that. I'm going to do that, do that, do that. Don't know. Is that the right thing to do? Or am I going to get electrocuted? I don't fancy getting electrocuted today. I remember a long, long time ago when we first started playing with these, the old Turner burner. I accidentally zapped him. He was holding one of them, and I remember it not being pleasant. Sorry, mate. It's all part of the learning curve, wasn't it? Let's make a little rig, shall we? So the plan is, this is my little power bank, power supply situation, which I use for everything. I'm going to put him to 12 volts. I'll show you, but it's pretty boring. Turn him on. 12 volts, give him 10 amps. Tells me he's off. Now he's on. Got an old plug. Going to give that a bit of thingy, give that a bit of thingy. That's my trigger. And I'm going to run a wire from here and just, and that should fire that. So let's build this. I just want to prove that I've got a repeatable rig. I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll turn that around there so you can see the fucking spark. So if this works, well, it's going to work in two ways. I'm either going to get electrocuted and piss myself, or this is going to spark and we're all going to be happy and go, oh my God, the coil's fantastic. And then what I'll do is, if I can, I will try and record the draw on this. I think it's going to be too quick though, just for data, just to see what we're working with. So what we do is take this plug off. So he's going to be the power, constant 12 volt, he's ground. I've got to do a jumper, I think, from him to the spark plug, because he needs to be grounded, right? Because he would be grounded back to that circuit through the block, and then from there, touch something on that. That should then give me, and if I use a chunky bit of cable, there's less risk of me burning my fingers. Right. So bear with me while I try and figure this shit out. In theory, it works, I think. I'm going to use some 20 amp wire, because I'm scared. I ain't scared, you're scared. So what I want to do is I'm going to loop that around there. I'm totally freestyling this. I've absolutely no idea if this is going to work, but logically it should. Sweat drops down my balls. Anyway, this should work in theory. See that there, be together, and in that I'll just go, pop goes the weasel. I'm not even going to hold that, I'm going to pop goes the weasel. It's off. I'm so shit scared of getting zapped. I could take all this together, couldn't I? Because it is a test rig. Do half a decent job, couldn't we? I think I made it worse. So that's going to be my fire, 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 and then I've got to think about this one. So that gives me now a constant ground to the coil, to energise the coil through the circuit, and then in theory, I'll create a loop like that. Now in theory, I can just go pop, 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 pop. This is one of those moments where you lack the experience. you're going to do it anyway because you're going to find out a lesson. I don't know if this is going to work or not. I mean, I don't care if I fry the coil. Let me think about this quickly. So that's connected full circuit through there. That's connected full circuit back to there, so that's got energy. This is the same as running the ground to the chassis. Let's just pretend this is the battery. That's going to the chassis and that'll be linked through the engine strap to the body. And that is part of that circuit. Fuck it. That sparks. I'll tell you what though. That pulls every little bit of 10 amps. It's pulling the fucking full whack. Okay, let's turn that off. I'm so shit scared that it's got capacitance going to zap me. So let's try one of my new plugs. Let's call it a new plug. Oh, it's a clean spark, isn't it? Tells us the coil works, right? I would say it's warm. It's definitely warm. But it works. Right, so this is cylinder 4. I'm going to test it with its associated coil. So it's drawing 0.008 of an amp. So 4's cold, that's 0.7. I would say that is aggressive, not in a good way. It's 0.08. I don't know why I'm recording those numbers, just because it's data, isn't it? So it's 0.007. I don't see a difference between any of those. All tested. Now it's time for heat protection. I'm pretty happy with how we sit with them. I'm going to, these little die cut things, I did on the old crew cut, or whatever it's called, machine. But I'm going to bang on each one of these. These plugs are now all proven. We're going to get them in and start it, I think, because I'm, you know, when you're just over it, I'm over it. I'm going to reload, I'm going to load the new base mat, which I'll show you, because of the dwell times and blah, 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 and the injectors, because they were never set up at 14. So that might have been a reason why the dead times were a little bit squiffy. So it might have been giving us a little bit too much fuel, maybe, because it's at 14 volts now, not 12. So I'm just going to give these a little brushing up. Brushing up! Do you know, that's the only thing I miss these days. About going out clubbing, you get the geezers in the toilets. No splash, no gash, no fresh, no splash. They used to have a rhyme for everything, didn't they? Those boys were hilarious. Freshen up for the punani. No splash, no gash. Used to give him like £1 or £2 for like of a knocked off Hugo Boss. So basically, that's clean. Clean as a whistle. That's effectively going to pop over that, sit on the seat there, centered on the hull. This has taken me a few iterations to get it like that, but that should then just be stuck on like that. Cool. Let's get to it. You don't need to see this, do you? It's quite boring. I can pull this off. Behave. Well, that ain't worked, has it? Dick. Don't like touching sticky stuff. Because this is going to be a tough video to edit. Yeah, boy. Now I've got 3 more to do. But at least we know we're protected. Put that back underneath. Decent. I'm fighting heat today. It keeps overheating. Basically, copper slip on all your plugs, just a little bit. Slippy slip. Everything is now numbered, so I can check it all. What I want is my little ratchet, because these were absolutely 100% too tight. That's enough. Give it the wrist, not the elbow. If you're like me, you put a lot of wrist into it when you were younger, so your wrists are definitely 100% strong enough. So let's just load my new base map. I'm going to remove that shit out of the engine bay. There's bits there before they bounce off full. Hit the alternator and blow the whole car up. Well, I'm going to show you what I'm going to do here, so you can join me on this endeavour. Connecting ECUs, PCs, is always a pain in the ass. We're definitely online. This is a me problem. Wrong lead. Plugged in the aim, didn't I? It's okay. We're all idiots sometimes. See, look at that. Straight in there, like swimwear. We're connected. Bosh. Right, now we should be loading the map in. So it's not too bad. Shit down here though. So what I'm going to do is put in, I'm going to load base map. So I'm going to load calibration. Yeah. So that should have launch control. You know it's loading because the throttle body does that. Don't know what that means. So anyway, this is working now. This is loading up, but this brings us a little bit safer territory. I guess we just try and start it, right? Now what I'm expecting, I'll get the oil pressure up with no injectors or nothing. I'm gonna hit it and it should just start. Why are you crazy? If it doesn't do that, we still have a problem.
And here we go.
Well, it's running. It is fucking rich. I don't think it needs that much fuel. It started. Yeah, it seems that she started. Now it did do that thing on startup. I think that's to do with too much fuel on cranking. So I'm going to pull loads of fuel out. I think it's got like a factor of 3 on the trim on startup on cranking. I think that's just way too much fuel. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull all that out and then introduce some back in. But I only think it needs 1.8. 1.5 maybe, because if it's at 3 now and it's doing all that shit, it should just and go. You don't want it to be like, I'm drowning, I felt the plugs, because I think that's what might be doing it. So every time I'm starting it, even though I'll give it a good run, I think just the starting is just fouling them up, just drowning them. So until I've got that fixed, I'm going to stick with the coppers. But what I'll do is I'll do another video when I take it out for a drive. So this can be our little like, we fixed it together, and then I'll do some blasting videos. A lot goes into this shit, doesn't it? A lot goes into it. A lot of messing about. But anyway, I hope you liked it. I hope you enjoyed us fixing the car together. We learned some stuff. We learned how to check coils, but I didn't find a reason for it other than potential fueling issues on startup that's fouling the plugs. I like to find something that's wrong with the car, not just, oh, we just cleaned things and put it back together and it worked perfectly, because that's not why it stopped working mid-drive on the way down to Goodwood, is it? So we need to put a little bit more thought into it, but I don't know right now. So anyway, this might be the end, it might not. And if it's not, then you'll see there's still time on the time bar. And if there's not, then I've gone, fuck it, I'm gonna get a video out and I'll do the driving on the next video. Maybe you get 2 videos in 1 week. That'd be nice, wouldn't it?